All right, what's going on, Fofo Nation? I have a different, uh, segment that I'm gonna start trying to do. Um, I'm gonna call it Guns and Gear Review. Um, I have a handful of firearms that I use regularly. I enjoy them. I usually buy things for reliability. I was in the military for 10 years, 7 months, 5 days. Um, So I got really acquainted with a lot of different kind of equipment. Uh, I'm going to go ahead and talk about a couple of firearms, and then I may go ahead and uh, move on to some other equipment that I do use pretty regularly. First thing, first thing I'm going to talk about is belts. Battle belts. People use those. Uh, I never really got comfortable with a battle belt, so I just use a pretty thick, um, stiff and rigid riggers belt. That's what I've used for several years. Being in the military, you get acquainted with what you like and what you enjoy. What uh, what things make you comfortable? I find that the stiffer belt when I'm running, there's less give. There's more security to my body. I have a few different riggers belts that I've used. The one I'm wearing now, I don't actually remember the brand of it. I just remember that it was very stiff, and it's got the Cobra clasp at the front. I like that. Makes it a lot easier to get on and off, especially when you have stomach issues like I do. I wore a 511 riggers belt for years and years and years. The only reason I stopped wearing it is because I lost a little piece of metal that's supposed to be on the clasping side, because it slides through, goes over that little piece of metal, and then slides back through, uh, and it holds it pretty tight. And that's the only reason I stopped wearing it, is because I lost that piece. I'm not 100% where I lost it. It could have been at when I was in the police academy is when I lost it. Uh, it was probably one of the range days. I have no exact idea when I lost it. I just know it was a while back. It was probably 3 years ago, and I still wear it occasionally, where I'll just pull it and like slap that Velcro on there to where it doesn't move very much. But I pretty much have stopped wearing it just because I don't have that piece, and it doesn't stay as tight as the way I like it. Um, Next, we will talk about holsters. Um, this one is a Orpaz. This one is a it's got a bigger spot for your firearm, just because that if you put a light on it, and this is a universal. Uh, it is a level, I think a level 2 or level 3. This is level 3, because while yes, I have to push that to where I can pull it out, I also have to push it down and then pull up, just because that there's a magnet on there, and it stays in there pretty good, even with it um, not having the top clasp on there. This one is a thigh holster. I tell them not to buy these, because most people don't wear them appropriately. They have them hanging way down by their knee, which is pretty much useless. You want to have it right next to your hand. Most people don't do that. Matter of fact, these little straps that go on your leg is supposed to be very high. And you got to be kind of careful when you put them on, because you don't want to, pinch testicle. If you don't have testicles, you don't have to worry about it. But this one, I like this just because that it's definitely more. I got used to wearing a Serpa holster, but the Serpas had an issue with button release right here, and when you'd pull the firearm out, your finger would go into the trigger, and people would, shoot themselves. So I don't suggest Serpas ever. I mean, I used to, but I was so trained on it, I never had that issue. I could always push and just slide up with my finger, along the, the slide, so it was never an issue for me. I got really used to it, and I knew I needed to get a new holster because I couldn't find a holster for this firearm. This is my Walther PPQ. I changed out the sights to XS Big Dot sights. It's more of a defensive shooting style sight. It's anywhere I put the dot, I'm probably going to hit. Just because I've trained with it quite a bit. It took a little bit of getting used to right at first, but it came pretty quickly, pretty naturally. The things about this firearm is this has probably got the this is unloaded, by the way. I just thought maybe I should show. Completely unloaded. The trigger is probably the best factory trigger I've ever shot. The worst ones are the ones where they're gritty, and you can feel that. To me, it's almost like sand. You can feel like sand in between the plastic and the metal, and I hate that sensation. So to have it, be such a positive kind of a squeeze and a very positive click when you reset it. It's got a very short reset. It's very, very short. For what I paid for this is probably the best pistol I've ever used. It's, I mean, you can change it from right-handed to left-handed. Just need to take the magazine release and flip it to the other side. It's very ambidextrous. It's got a very long, lever, slide catch, so you can do it, either hand. It's a really nice gun. This pistol, I guess it's technically a compact, but it's a great gun. Eats everything. Steel case, brass cased, it doesn't matter. It's a great gun. Eats everything. But if I ever have to pull this, I messed up somewhere. That is my own opinion. I don't generally like to carry my pistol. I'm sorry. I don't generally like to be very far from a firearm. I carry pistols. This pistol I don't generally carry every day just because it is a lot bigger and it prints more. I have a Smith & Wesson M&P Shield that I carry. Very small, compact gun. I think it's a subcompact. It's single stack. So, but this is double stack. It's 15 plus 1. So that's what I carry is 15 plus 1. Then I have Hang on just a second. I gotta grab it. All right, so this is my AR. It's a little dirty. Um, this is the pretty much the house defense AR. Um, I have a I have another AR, but I have it set up as a designated marksman rifle. Um, I'll just go pretty quick and kind of tell you what's on here. Um, I have a Vortex Spark, um, basically a red dot sight. Um, I'm sure there is um, a magnifier that I can put on here, um, but I don't really need that. This is just generally like my home defense kind of firearm. Um, ooh, whacking everything. Um, I highly suggest that if you're gonna have a firearm um, that is a larger firearm, you need a sling. This is a Blue Force Gear sling. I like this a lot. I have Fiocchi iron sights on it. That's what I'm running on here. I also have a Fiocchi light, and it works very well. It's very very bright, very bright. This is kind of like my home defense firearm, just because I'm at home a lot, and this is locked up where I can get it pretty rapidly. With a firearm like this, I won't shoot in the house with it. I can't. I mean, I can, but it's going to go through some walls. So I do have a shotgun that is right next to this. That if I'm in the house and I have to shoot something, I'm using that. This we've had issues with badgers, coyotes, wildlife. They get after my dogs or cats. I have to get out there and take care of them. So this is pretty much what I use. The class I'm going to be teaching, I will be using this firearm. I will be recording some of that class, and I'll probably have some cool highlights from it. But this is my AR. I believe everybody should have training when they do have firearms. The biggest thing when it comes to these, you have to actually really, really know what you're getting into. And I'm saying it like this is hard to shoot. It's not. This is it's a light firearm. Most anybody can shoot them. It's a 223. Actually, I think this is a 223 wild, so it does 5.56 as well. Actually, both of my ARs are 5.56 wild, or I'm sorry, 223 wild. My other AR has an adjustable gas block. If I was to ever suppress it, I can adjust it so where I don't get the gas blowing back in my face. With this particular firearm, this is a Live Free Armory, I believe is what they're called. Yep, Live Free Armory out of Melbourne, Florida. It's a great gun. I mean, if you look at it, there's some dings and stuff on it. It's got some use. I shoot. So sometimes when I'm done shooting, I just toss it in the back of my truck, in the bed of the truck, and shoot another firearm until I'm ready to go. Then I box everything up, take it home. Semi-automatic, so it's everybody's says stuff like fully semi-automatic. That's not a thing. So I don't know where that even came from. Semi-automatic. That means when you squeeze the trigger, one round will come out. When you let go of the trigger, you can squeeze again. But if you squeeze that trigger, it's not just going to keep shooting. That would make it an automatic or full auto, if you will. It's That's not what this is. This is it's a great gun. It's fun to shoot. This is my cheapy rifle. When I say cheapy, I mean I didn't buy all the Gucci gear for it like I did my other one. My DMR rifle is got way more expensive stuff on it. But Fiocchi, you know, front and rear sights. Fiocchi, pardon me. Fiocchi flashlight. It's got rechargeable batteries, which I do recharge. Probably once a month I'll switch them out, but it's just it's always good to have flashlight, especially if you're, let's say, you have, in my case, a badger, attacking your huskies out in the middle of the night. You need a flashlight to see. This has a little pressure switch, and then it has a button that you actually push and it'll stay on. But with the pressure switch, for your like clearing rooms, that's nice to have. I am gonna get a forward, like a barricade notch. I am gonna put that on there, just because this will be my fun run and gun kind of toy. I would like to pick up 3-gun again, just because I liked it. It was fun. I only did, I think, 2 competitions. It may have only just been the one, but it was 2 days. I'm sorry, it was one competition, but it was a 2-day comp. But it was fun. I liked it. I didn't do great, but I had also been out of the military for a hot minute, and I hadn't been shooting a lot. So, but once I really started shooting again, I could probably do better if I went back to it. But I have no intention of really going back to doing 3-gun. I just like to shoot and test myself. I've kind of gotten more into long range stuff in the last few years. I have my Remington 700. It's a bull barrel. It's made for shooting a long ways. I put it on MTT stock just because of the stock I had before was a stock, butt stock that was on it. It was not anything to write home about. I mean, yeah, I'd do the job, but after a while, the barrel was getting hot and causing the handguard to end up bending up and touching the barrel. And if you know anything about shooting long ways, you don't want anything messing with your barrel harmonics, and that definitely does. I've not glass bedded my rifle onto the MTT stock yet, just because I one haven't had time to do it, and 2, anytime that I do think about doing it, I'm not in a position where I can. Usually, I'm on a long drive when I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, why couldn't I have had this thought while I was at the store? That kind of thing. But this is a good rifle. Very accurate, very fun to shoot. I've shot it quite a bit. I think maybe 400 or 500 rounds through it, and I've only really been shooting this, probably the last year and a half. I wouldn't shoot prairie dogs with this just because I'm not guaranteed to make a clean shot with it, just because the optic is not great for that kind of shooting. My other AR is. I say it's a DMR. It's really not. It's more just like a prairie dog gun. I shoot prairie dogs a lot. But this is it's a fun gun to kind of start with if you are really into shooting and you want something that is pretty reliable. Live Free Armory. They're, it's cool. It's got a cool little eagle on this side, right here on the magazine well. I thought that was cool, and I like Coyote. I like that kind of tan. Uh, I like that kind of a tan look. I mean, as you can tell, I wear khaki. Wear khaki. I wear black. I wear. I'm not a very good gray man, just because if you know what a gray man is, you will be like, that guy's definitely not it. I wear khakis. I wear pants with lots of pockets. Um, One, I got used to it while I was in the military. Two, man, them pockets come in handy. I mean, you got cupcake, or not cupcake, but like, oh, fudge round, or you know oatmeal cream pies. Man, you stuff them things in your pocket and you're set. You can go, you know, out to the park, watch a soccer game, watch your kid play soccer, and you got snacks in your pocket, and you're just cool. Footwear, when it comes to like going to the range and stuff, I always tell people over the ankle boots, or very, very tough, durable shoes. Um, my preference, really, I like it's a hiking boot. They're Merrells. They're called Moabs, mother of all boots. That's that's what I like. That's what's comfortable to me. You know, special warfare guys I've met, they're wearing Merrells or Keens. You know, Merrells generally is what I see those guys wearing. But I'm not above wearing some some of those military style boots made by uh, Under Armour. I have a pair and I wear them. They're comfortable. They were more like my workout kind of boots. And then if I had like a dress boot for when I was in like the police academy, they're just zip up with leather toe that I could polish up real nice. I think I think they're Bates, but I'm not 100% on that, just because I haven't worn them in a while. But you know, above the closed toed shoes, number one, they got to be closed toed, and then above the ankle. When you go to the range, long sleeves are advised. They are not required, but if you don't want to get burned, wear long sleeves. And if they don't wear a hoodie, because it'll catch brass. I have a I'm sorry, had a really good friend. Actually, I don't know. Maybe it could have been Young, but it could have been Joyner. I don't know. One of them. Well, we were at the range one day. A 240 round. It's a 7.62 by 51 or 308 round from a machine gun, flipped up, stuck to his neck, and left like a perfect burn in his neck. And it was just sheer luck that it happened that way. Just because like the way his shirt was, it landed right there. But if you don't want stuff going down your shirt, wear something you can button all the way up. Hats, sunglasses, water. Uh, I always take a. I have a pretty nice med kit bag that I take to the range whenever I'm instructing classes. But if it's just me going out and shooting, I have IFAK, um, individual first aid kit for those who are not military or military adjacent. So individual first aid kit. Have good tourniquets. Tourniquets are important. You get good ones. Ones that have the windlass is my preference. That's the ones that I always tell people to get. Don't ever get the rubber band ones. Yes, they work okay. However, they can come loose. With the windlass, man, it takes some work to get those things to come loose, especially if you have like the Velcro over it. It's not coming loose. Uh, Eye protection, ear protection, all that fun stuff. I use something called Sonic Defenders. They fit in your ear. They go in the whole thing here. Uh, and if you have the little fancy dancing mics, you can just plug it into that, and you're good. Um, and you can hear people on the radio that way. So that's part of the reason I like the Sonic Defenders, just because I'm already losing my hearing. Um, I have tinnitus in my left ear, and I can barely hear uh, my kids or wife talking to me most of the time. So uh, it's a struggle. But tinnitus is no fun. You don't want that. You don't want to have hearing loss. Always wear hearing protection, eye pro. Uh, those are kind of like basic things, but eye protection's very important because you need those for going out shooting. You need those eyeballs. Those are important. Um, Water, always water. Electrolytes and water. Those are the things that I always tell people to bring to class, just because that they're going to be shooting, they're going to get hot or cold, and the water is important. I always tell people if they don't want to go out and get like electrolytes, an actual electrolyte drink, just bring some salt. Bring some salt. You know, put a pretty good pinch on your hand, lick that, drink some water. You know, you'll be good. Cramping is a real thing, especially when you're you know uh, moving from cover to cover and shooting and trying to be accurate and trying to be focused. You don't want to be thinking about, oh, my legs are cramping. That's never fun. Other things when you're going shooting, um, make sure that you're following direction of your RSO and your uh, line safety. Just because that if you're not, um, they're really probably not paying as much attention to you as you think they are, but they are paying attention. So I always tell people, don't flag me, and I won't flag you. Um, flagging people is like pointing your barrel at them when they're ill prepared for it. Don't do that. Don't flag people. Keep your muzzle downrange all the time. When I go out and I shoot prairie dogs, I usually am there for several hours, so I always have like a granola bar or things like that in my pockets. Um, little snackies, little creature comforts. Just because you're like, if you go to the range, you're going to be out there a long time, especially if that there's a bigger class. If usually like what I do, I don't like to teach classes of more than 10 because that's a little more than I can handle. 10 or fewer is what I do, just because that I feel like that's a manageable number for me. Um, I was an instructor while I was in the military. I've had classes up to 80 and 18-year-old kids. They are just as bad as like high schoolers. I mean, granted, they were in high school like last year, but or sometimes is even less than that, is a few months ago. uh, but I've had classes of up to 80. I don't enjoy the chaos. And when I'm teaching a class, I'm not going to have like the same kind of structure. I'm not going to have, you know, 3 or 4 fire teams. It's just not a way to teach a class. Uh, but the gear, if you guys have questions on it, let me know. I can always talk about guns. I'm a big guy I'm a big gun guy. I like guns. I think they're fun. I have had, I don't know, probably I think 80 students. Um, and that's just, through my professional, firearms instructor career. Uh, Not all of them are concealed carry, but there's a few. There's a few of those. And there are people that I have taught that I've just been like, you're not confident enough for a firearm. I don't know what else to tell you. You probably shouldn't, you know, be even handling a firearm if you're shaking this much, just holding it. You haven't even loaded it yet, so I don't understand why you're shaking. Uh, and yes, I understand it is something to get over. It's just like driving a car. Desensitize yourself to the stresses of it, um, and that helps. But if you're shaking that bad and you've not done anything yet, maybe you should look at another type of self defense. Jiu-jitsu is great. Will that work against lots of opponents? Probably not. Two or three, maybe. It'd work all right. But firearms are the great equalizer. They, what's that saying? Men are not created equal, but Sam Colt made them all equal. I think that's how that goes. I'm not 100% on the quote. I don't remember very well, but it's one of those sayings that pretty true. Not all men are created equal, because some dudes are huge. I always tell people not to carry anything smaller than what I would carry. I carry a 9mm. All of my pistols are 9mm, just because I won't carry anything smaller than that, and I can afford to shoot them. So there's that. So there's an economic reason for me to have a 9mm as well, because they're cheap. ARs are relatively cheap when you have lots of shooting you want to do. AR rifles are, I'm sorry, AR ammunition is cheaper. There's guns I want. The main gun that I want, it starts at $10,000. I can't afford to shoot it, so I just sit and dream. I want to. It's a Shytech 408, otherwise known as the Intervention. If you've seen Shooter, you've seen that rifle. I think it's $10 around, but I'm not 100% on that. I'd have to look. It's been a while since I looked it up, so there's that. With pistols, 9mm cheap. You can shoot it a lot. 12 gauge, you can shoot birdshot, and it works really well. I like to do clay pigeons. You shoot those pretty cheap. Clay pigeons, you can shoot those pretty cheap. I think that I spent $12 on a box, and we spent pretty much the whole weekend shooting them. Me and my kids went out and we were shooting in my backyard. It was great. Buckshot is a little more. Slugs are definitely a little more. I have a good variety of all of the shotgun. All of these shotgun rounds, just because I shoot lots of different things. You can go deer hunting with a slug and buckshot. That's why it's called buckshot. It's funny. Don't use buckshot to try to shoot at waterfowl. It's not smart. I use birdshot. I also use birdshot for shooting prairie dogs. I have some pest rounds that I bought. They're 9mm. It's like a miniature shotgun shell. That's not even that. It's the shell casing, and there's a plastic thing with lots of little BBs. And I had a prairie dog in my front yard, and I can't shoot towards the highway. And I really didn't want to shoot a 9mm toward my house. So I got those, and I killed that prairie dog. Made me very happy. I no longer have holes in my, my lawn. So there's that. But I'm also out in the country quite a ways. But there's a highway right next to my house, so I can't shoot towards the highway. So I just stuck my pistol in my car when I drive down the driveway, and I finally saw it. Oh, I was so happy. Killed it. Made me very happy. Coyotes ate it the next morning, so, I mean, such is the circle of life. And then, badgers also eat prairie dogs, so if you shoot a prairie dog and they, just go ahead and, or eaten up by the badger, you can give that badger a free meal instead of making them dig for it. That's always nice. I feel like that's nice. I feed the birds with dead prairie dogs all the time too. So just if you're gonna get a firearm, at least take a firearm safety class. If you're gonna do the whole concealed carry, which is my personal belief, people should conceal carry. Open carry, I think, is kind of dumb, just because that paints a huge target on you, and most holsters, unless you train for weapons retention a lot, most people can't stop somebody from taking their firearm. So my suggestion is conceal carry. That's not me plugging my business. I don't even teach concealed carry anymore. I am gonna take a class and get my concealed carry trainer certification back. The only reason I'm doing that is because I feel like there is a lot more need for it than I'd originally thought. Talking to people here recently really kind of opened my eyes to how much business there is in my small little area. However, I did not market well, so I didn't keep my cert because I didn't market well enough. If I would have marketed in the right ways and in the right places, I probably would have had a lot more business. Didn't know that until probably 2 weeks ago. So now that I'm looking into it, there's a class coming up in November, and I'm hoping to get into that so I can go start teaching concealed carry again. I like doing that, and it's fun for me. I like to teach. I know I say a lot, and it is pissing me off because I've actively been thinking about not saying it, and I keep doing it. I apologize for that. So, in conclusion, you can't drink all day unless you start in the morning, and if you're going to go out there, train to be dangerous, train to be safe. Have a good night.